All right, let's talk about one of the most famous rules in writing, the one that probably got circled in red ink on your old school papers. Avoid the passive voice. It's drilled into us as the number one rule for strong writing. But what if it's not the whole story? What if the passive voice is actually a secret weapon just waiting to be used? I mean, we've all seen this everywhere, haven't we? It's in style guides, writing classes. It's probably even been flagged by your editing software. And the message seems pretty clear, right? Active voice is good, it's strong, it's direct. Passive voice is bad, weak, maybe even a little sneaky. But here's a crazy thought. What if that advice is just way too simple? What if telling a writer to never use the passive voice is like telling a carpenter to never use a screwdriver? Sometimes it is absolutely the perfect tool for the job. So in this explainer, we're going to put that old rule under the microscope. First, we'll look at why it has such a bad reputation. Then we'll get into what it actually is and how it's all about shifting focus. After that, we'll cover the special cases where it's your best friend, learn the super simple formula to build it, and finally, we'll put your new skills to the test. So first things first, why the bad rap? Well, to be fair, when it's overused or used by accident, the passive voice can totally make your writing sound clunky and vague. It can feel a little indirect, and sometimes it's even used to hide who's responsible for something, which can feel pretty evasive. But here's the secret. To use it right, you gotta understand what it really is. The big difference between active and passive isn't about good versus bad writing. It's all about where you want to shine the spotlight in your sentence. And check this out. This simple example shows that shift perfectly. In the active sentence, Sam wrote a letter. Who's the star of the show? Sam is. The spotlight is right on him. But in the passive version, a letter was written by Sam. The letter itself moves to center stage. See how that works? Our focus shifts to the thing that received the action. So let's lock this down. Active voice, the subject of this sentence is the doer. They are the one performing the action. It's direct, it's clear, it's got energy. Sam does the writing. Bam, simple. Now in the passive voice, the subject is the one getting the action done to it. The letter gets written. And this isn't some kind of mistake. It's a deliberate, strategic choice to pull the audience's focus away from the doer and put it squarely on the action itself, or on the result. And making that choice is exactly where the passive voice stops being a foe and becomes a really, really useful friend. There are very specific situations where using the passive voice isn't just okay, is actually the better, more effective, and sometimes even the more elegant option. So when should you call on your new friend? Well, there are three main times. First, when the person doing the action is either totally unknown or just doesn't matter. Second, when you want to laser focus on the action itself. And third, when you want to sound a little more polite or less aggressive. Let's look at that first case. The window is broken. Think about it. We might have no idea who broke it. And honestly, it might not even matter. The crucial point here isn't finding the culprit. It's the fact that we have a broken window we need to fix. The passive voice nails that situation perfectly. Or what about this one? She was elected to city council. The most important piece of news here is the result of the election, right? Thousands of people voted for her, but naming all of them would be impossible and totally beside the point. The focus is on her achievement. And finally, politeness. A customer service email that says, "Your business is appreciated," just feels a little softer, a bit more formal than the super direct, "We appreciate your business." It creates this sense of professionalism that sometimes is exactly what you're going for. Okay, so you know when to use it. But what about how to actually build one of these sentences? Well, lucky for us, there's a really straightforward formula for turning an active sentence passive. Let's walk through it with an example. So, we start with the active sentence. The government built a new bridge. Okay, step one, we take the object, a new bridge, and make that our new subject. Step two, add a be verb, in this case, was. Step three, add the past participle of the main verb, which is built. So now we have a new bridge was built. And if we want, we can add that optional last part, by the government. See? Simple. All right, you've got the theory, you've got the formula. Now it's time to put all that new knowledge into practice. You ready to play detective and spot some common mistakes? Let's see if you can figure out why these next few sentences just don't quite sound right. Okay, first one. I was eating an ice cream. That sounds weird, right? What's going on here? Did you get it? The subject, I, is the one doing the eating. Remember, the passive voice is for when the subject receives the action. Since the subject is the doer, this sentence has to be in the active voice. I ate an ice cream. Much better.
Okay, next up, what about this one? He was written a novel. Take a second, think about it. Yup, it's that same pattern again. The subject, he, is the author. He's the one performing the action of writing. The novel is what's getting the action, so we need that direct, active voice. He wrote a novel.
And for our last one, I have been managed a company since 2004. Now, this is a super common mistake. But again, ask yourself, who is doing the managing? It's the subject, I. So the active voice makes it clean and correct. I have managed a company since 2004.
So, here's the big takeaway. The passive voice is not a grammar error. It's not a sign of a bad writer. It is a strategic, powerful tool. And you know what? Just banning it completely is a rookie move. The mark of a truly great writer is knowing when to be direct and active and when to be thoughtful and passive. So the goal was never to just avoid a mistake. It's to master another tool in your toolkit. Now that you understand the real purpose and the real power behind the passive voice, the only question left is, where are you going to use your new writing superpower?